and welcome to Page Turner. My name is Paige, and today we're going to be starting off a 4-book series. The first book in the series is called Red Queen, and the series is by Victoria Aveyard. It was on the New York Times bestseller list, and the genre is young adult novel, or fiction, I guess. And I would describe it as a dystopian fantasy type of novel. So each video is going to be just one chapter, and you can skip ahead or go backwards or fast forward, however you wish to listen to it. Without further ado, we will start. So I hope you enjoy. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Chapter 1. I hate First Friday. It makes the village crowded, and now in the heat of high summer, that's the last thing anyone wants. From my place in the shade, it isn't so bad, but the stink of bodies, all sweating with the morning work, is enough to make milk curdle. The air shimmers with heat and humidity, and even the puddles from yesterday's storm are hot, swirling with rainbow streaks of oil and grease. The market deflates, with everyone closing up their stalls for the day. The merchants are distracted, careless, and it's easy for me to take whatever I want from their wares. By the time I'm done, my pockets bulge with trinkets, and I've got an apple for the road. Not bad for a few minutes' work. As the throng of people moves, I let myself be taken away by the human current. My hand darts in and out, always in fleeting touches. Some paper bills from a man's pocket, a bracelet from a woman's wrist, nothing too big. Villagers are too busy shuffling along to notice a pickpocket in their midst. The high stilt buildings for which the village is named, the stilts, very original, rise all around us, 10 feet above the muddy ground. In the spring, the lower bank is under water, but right now it's August, when dehydration and sun sickness stalk the village. Almost everyone looks forward to the first Friday of each month, when work and school end early. But not me. No, I'd rather be in school, learning nothing in a classroom full of children. Not that I'll be in school much longer. My 18th birthday is coming, and with it, conscription. I'm not apprenticed. I don't have a job, so I'm going to be sent to the war, like all the other idle ones. It's no wonder there's no work left, with every man, woman, and child trying to stay out of the army. My brothers went to war when they turned 18, all 3 of them sent to fight Lakelanders. Only Shade can write worth a lick, and he sends me letters when he can. I haven't heard from my other brothers, Bree and Trammy, in over a year, but no news is good news. Families can go years without hearing a thing, only to find their sons and daughters waiting on the front doorstep, home on leave or sometimes blissfully discharged. But usually you receive a letter made of heavy paper, stamped with the King's Crown seal below a short thank you for your child's life. Maybe you even get a few buttons from their torn, obliterated uniforms. I was 13 when Bree left. He kissed me on the cheek and gave me a single pair of earrings for my little sister Giza and me to split. They were dangling glass beads, the hazy pink color of sunset. We pierced our ears ourselves that night. Trammy and Shade kept up the tradition when they went. Now Giza and I have 1 ear each set with 3 tiny stones to remind us of our brothers fighting somewhere. I didn't really believe they'd have to go. Not until the Legionnaire in his polished armor showed up and took them away, one after another. And this fall, they'll come for me. I've already started saving and stealing to buy Giza some earrings when I go. Don't think about it. That's what Mom always says. About the army, about my brothers, about everything. Great advice, Mom. Down the street at the crossing of Mill and Marcher roads, the crowd thickens and more villagers join the current. A gang of kids, little thieves in training, flutters through the fray with sticky, searching fingers. They're too young to be good at it, and security officers are quick to intervene. Usually the kids would be sent to the stocks or the jail at the outpost, but the officers went to see First Friday. They settle for giving the ringleaders a few harsh knocks before letting them go. Small mercies. The tiniest pressure at my waist makes me spin, acting on instinct. I grab at the hand foolish enough to pickpocket me, squeezing tight so little imp won't be able to run away. But instead of a scrawny kid, I find myself staring up at a smirking face. Keylorn Warren, a fisherman's apprentice, a war orphan, and probably my only real friend. We used to beat each other up as children, but now that we're older, and he's a foot taller than me, I try to avoid scuffles. He has his uses, I suppose. Reaching high shelves, for example. You're getting faster, he chuckles, shaking off my grip. Or you're getting slower. He rolls his eyes and snatches the apple out of my hand. Are we waiting for Giza? He asks, taking a bite of the fruit. She has a pass for the day. Working. Then let's get moving. Don't want to miss the show. And what a tragedy that would be. Tisk tisk, mare, he teases, shaking a finger at me. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a warning, you dumb fool. But he's already walking up with his long strides, forcing me to almost trot to keep up. His gait weaves, off balance. Sea legs, he calls them, though he's never been to the far-off sea. I guess long hours on his master's fishing boat, even on the river, are bound to make some effect. Like my dad, Keylorn's father was sent off to the war, but whereas mine returned missing a leg and a lung, Mr. Warren came back in a shoebox. Keylorn's mother ran off after that, leaving her young son to fend for himself. He almost starved to death, but somehow kept picking fights with me. I fed him so I wouldn't have to kick around a bag of bones, and now, 10 years later, here he is. At least he's apprenticed and won't face the war. We get to the foot of the hill where the crowd is thicker, pushing and prodding on all sides. First Friday attendance is mandatory, unless you are, like my sister, an essential laborer. As if embroidering silk is essential. But the Silvers love their silk, don't they? Given the security officers, a few of them anyway, can be bribed with pieces sewn by my sister. Not that I know anything about that. The shadows around us deepen as we climb up the stone stairs. Toward the crest of the hill, Keylorn takes them 2 at a time, almost leaving me behind, but he stops to wait. He smirks down at me and tosses a lock of faded, tawny hair out of his green eyes. Sometimes I forget you have the legs of a child. Better than the brain of one, I snap, giving him a light smack on the cheek as I pass. His laughter follows me up the stairs. You're grouchier than usual. I just hate these things. I know, he murmurs. Solemn for once. And then we're in the arena, the sun blazing hot overhead. Built 10 years ago, the arena is easily the largest structure in the stilts. It's nothing compared to the colossal ones in the city, but still. Soaring arches of steel, thousands of feet of concrete are enough to make a village girl catch her breath. Security officers are everywhere, their black and silver uniforms standing out in the crowd. This is First Friday, and they can't wait to watch the proceedings. They carry long rifles or pistols, though they don't need them. As is customary, the officers are Silvers, and Silvers have nothing to fear from us Reds. Everyone knows that. We are not their equals, though you wouldn't know it from looking at us. The only thing that serves to distinguish us, outwardly at least, is that Silvers stand tall. Our backs are bent by work and unanswered hope and the inevitable disappointment with our lot in life. Inside, the open-topped arena is just as hot as out, and Keylorn, always on his toes, leads me to some shade. We don't get seats here, just long concrete benches, but the silver nobles up above enjoy cool, comfortable boxes. There they have drinks, food, ice even in high summer, cushioned chairs, electric lights, and other comforts I'll never enjoy. The Silvers don't bat an eye at any of it, complaining about the wretched conditions. I'll give them a wretched condition, if I ever have the chance. All we get are hard benches and a few screechy video screens, almost too bright and too noisy to stand. Bet you a day's wages is another strong arm today, Keylorn says, tossing his apple core toward the arena floor. No bet, I shoot back at him. Many Reds gamble earnings on the fights, hoping to win a little something to help them get through another week. But not me, not even with Keylorn. It's better to cut the bookie's purse than try to win money from it. You shouldn't waste your money like that. It's not a waste if I'm right. It's always a strong arm beating up someone else. Strong arms usually make up at least one half of the fights. Their skills and abilities better suited to the arena than almost any other silver. They seem to revel in it, using their superhuman strength to toss other champions around like rag dolls. What about the other one? I ask, thinking about the range of silvers that could appear. Telkies, swifts, nymphs, greenies, stone skins, all of them terrible to watch. Not sure. Hopefully something cool. I could use some fun. Keylor and I don't really see eye to eye on the feats of First Friday. For me, watching two champions rip into each other is not enjoyable, but Keylor loves it. Let them ruin each other, he says. They're not our people. He doesn't understand what the feats are about. This isn't mindless entertainment meant to give us some respite from grueling work. This is calculated, cold. A message. Only silvers can fight in the arenas because only a silver can survive in the arena. They fight to show us their strength and power. You are no match for us. We are your betters. We are gods. It's written in every superhuman blow the champions land. And they're absolutely right. Last month I watched a swift battle a Telki, and though the swift could move faster than the eye could see, the Telki stopped him cold. With just the power of his mind, he lifted the other fighter right off the ground. The swift started to choke. I think the Telki had some invisible grip on his throat. When the swift's face turned blue, they called the match. Keylorn cheered. He'd bet on the Telki. Ladies and gentlemen, silvers and reds, welcome to First Friday, the feat of August. The announcer's voice echoes around the arena, magnified by the walls. He sounds bored, as usual. I don't blame him. Once the feats were not matches at all, but executions. Prisoners and enemies of the state would be transported to Archeon, the capital, and killed in front of a silver crowd. I guess the silvers liked that, and the matches began. Not to kill, but to entertain. Then they became the feats and spread out to the other cities, to different areas and different audiences. Eventually the Reds were granted admission, confined to the cheap seats. It wasn't long until the silvers built arenas everywhere, even villages like the Stilts. And attendance that was once a gift became a mandatory curse. My brother Shade says it's because arena cities enjoyed a marked reduction in red crime, dissent, even the few acts of rebellion. Now silvers don't have to use execution or the legions or even security to keep the peace. Two champions can scare us just as easily. Today, the two in question look up to the job. The first to walk out onto the white sand is announced as Cantos Keros, a silver from Harbor Bay in the east. The video screen blares a clear picture of the warrior, and no one needs to tell me this is a strong arm. He has arms like tree trunks, hoarded and veined and straining against his own skin. When he smiles, I can see all of his teeth are gone. Maybe he ran afoul of his own toothbrush when he was a growing boy. Next to me, Keylorn cheers, and the other villagers roar with him. The security officer throws a loaf of bread at the louder ones for their trouble. To my left, another hands a screaming child a bright yellow piece of paper, lek papers, extra electricity rations. All of it to make us cheer, to make us scream, to force us to watch, even if we don't want to. That's right, let him hear you, the announcer draws, forcing as much enthusiasm into his voice as he can. And here we have his opponent, straight from the capital, Samson Mirandas. The other warrior looks pale and weedy next to the human-shaped hunk of muscle, but his blue steel armor is fine and polished to a high sheen. He's probably the second son of a second son, trying to win renown in the arena. Though he should be scared, he looks strangely calm. His last name sounds familiar, but that's not unusual. Many silvers belong to famous families called houses with dozens of members. The governing family of our region, the Capital Valley, is House Well, though I've never seen Governor Well in my life. He never visits it more than once a year, or twice a year, and even then he never stoops to entering a red village like mine. I saw his riverboat once, a sleek thing with green and gold flags. He's a greenie, and when he passed, the trees on the bank burst into blossom and flowers popped out of the ground. I thought it was beautiful, till one of the older boys threw rocks at his boat. The stones fell harmlessly into the river. They put the boy in the stocks anyway. It'll be the strong arm for sure. Keelorn frowns at the small champion. How do you know? What's Samson's power? Who cares? He's still gonna lose, I scoff, settling in to watch. Excuse me. The usual call rings out over the arena. Many rise to their feet, eager to watch, but I stay seated in silent protest. As calm as I might look, anger boils in my skin. Anger and jealousy. We are gods, echoes in my head. Champions, set your feet. They do, digging in their heels on opposite sides of the arena. Guns aren't allowed in arena fights, so Kantos draws a short, wide sword. I doubt he'll need it. Samson produces no weapon, his fingers merely twitching by his side. A low, humming electric tone runs through the arena. I hate this part. The sound vibrates in my teeth, in my bones, pulsing until I think something might shatter. It ends abruptly with a chirping chime. It begins. I exhale. Looks like a bloodbath right away. Kantos barrels forward like a bull, kicking up sand in his wake. Samson tries to dodge Kantos, using his shoulder to slide around the silver, but the strong arm is quick. He gets hold of Samson's leg and tosses him around the arena like he's made of feathers. The subsequent cheers over Samson's roar of pain as he collides with the cement wall. But it's written on his face. Before he can hope to stand, Kantos is over him, heaving him skyward. He hits the sand in a heap of what can only be broken bones, but somehow rises to his feet again. Is he a punching bag? Keelorn laughs. Let him have it, Kantos. Keelorn doesn't care about an extra loaf of bread or a few more minutes of electricity. That's not why he cheers. He honestly wants to see blood. Silver blood. Silver blood. Stain the arena. It doesn't matter that the blood is everything we aren't, everything we can't be, everything we want. He just needs to see it and trick himself into thinking they are truly human, that they can be hurt and defeated. But I know better. Their blood is a threat, a warning, a promise. We are not the same and never will be. He's not disappointed. Even the box seats can see the metallic, iridescent liquid dripping from Samson's mouth. It reflects the summer sun like a watery mirror, painting a river down his neck and into his armor. This is the true division between silvers and reds, the color of our blood. This simple difference somehow makes them stronger, smarter, better than us. Samson spits, sending a sunburst of silver blood across the arena. 10 yards away, Kantos tightens his grip on his sword, ready to incapacitate Samson and end this. Poor fool, I mutter. Keelorn is right, nothing but a punching bag. Kantos pounds through the sand, sword held high, eyes on fire, and then he freezes mid-step, his armor clanking with the sudden stop. From the middle of the arena, the bleeding warrior points at Kantos with a stare to break bone. Samson flicks his fingers and Kantos walks, perfectly in time with Samson's movements. His mouth falls open like he's gone slow or stupid, like his mind is gone. I can't believe my eyes. A deathly quiet falls over the arena as we watch, not understanding the scene below us. Even Keelorn has nothing to say. A whisper. I breathe aloud. Never before have I seen one in the arena. I doubt anyone has. Whispers are rare, dangerous, and powerful, even among the silvers, even in the capital. The rumors about them vary, but it boils down to something simple and chilling. It can enter your head, read your thoughts, and control your mind. And this is exactly what Samson is doing, having whispered his way past Kantos' armor and muscle into his very brain where there are no defenses. Cantos raises his sword, hands trembling. He's trying to fight Samson's power, but strong as he is, there's no fighting the enemy in his mind. Another twist of Samson's hand and the silver blood splashes across the sand as Cantos plunges his sword straight through his armor into the flesh of his own stomach. Even up in the seats, I can hear the sickening squelch of metal cutting through meat. As the blood gushes from Cantos, gasps echo across the arena. We've never seen so much blood here before. Blue lights flash to life, bathing the arena floor in a ghostly glow, signaling the end of the match. Silver healers run across the sand, rushing to the fallen Cantos. Silvers aren't supposed to die here. Silvers are supposed to fight bravely, to flaunt their skills, to put on a good show, but not die. After all, they aren't Reds. Officers move faster than I've ever seen, a few are swifts, rushing to and fro in a blur as they herd us out. They don't want us around if Cantos dies on the sand. Meanwhile, Samson strides from the arena like a titan. His gaze falls on Cantos' body, and I expect him to look apologetic. Instead, his face is blank, emotionless, and so cold. The match was nothing to him. We are nothing to him. In school, we learned about the world before ours, about the angels and gods that lived in the sky, ruling the earth with kind and loving hands. Some say those are just stories, but I don't believe that. The gods rule us still. They've come down from the stars, and they are no longer kind.